Howdy, it's Jim Arado, and this is the middle of August 2023. We're in Cave City, Kentucky. Been spending a lot of time here lately, and specifically we're at Onyx Cave and Rock Shop. That's, I think, the official title. Several caves out here with Onyx in the title, and it's just a kind of common slang, I think, for a cave. So it's just kind of a common name, but this is Onyx Cave and Rock Shop, I believe. And it's right across from Dinosaur World. It's right next to Guntown Mountain. In fact, they found this cave, as our guide will tell us here momentarily, while they were digging, I think, the parking lot for Guntown Mountain. And I'm going to keep this quick. I filmed the entire tour, except for a couple moments. I took a couple pictures and I stopped taping, so there'll be a couple of weird breaks. This video will have all the flaws and blemishes and all that, but it's pretty much a complete tour of the cave. I hope you enjoy that. I hope it makes you want to go out and visit this cave. It's a great cave. It's not a long tour. Oh, there's Guntown Mountain. It's right next to Guntown Mountain. So this might be a good tour for a first-timer. And, oh, they found a little turtle in their parking lot, and they brought him in. They put him back out later, but I thought that was cute.
Well, we have one that's going down right now. We're going to do tours every 30 minutes until 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I saw all of you get strung up so you can hang out your chicks. Go ahead and get started. Come on, don't be shy. You can shut the door for me, please. Well, this is it. What do y'all think?
Amazing.
My name is Jason. My friends call me Coleman, like the camping gear. We're a real laid-back cave here at Onyx. We only have a handful of rules. I just go over them real quick. We have some really fine handrails. Just hang tight to them. It gets a little narrow and steep, especially at the very beginning of the main cave. But we'll take our time and go real slow and be real safe. Hang tight to your children. Make sure they're hanging tight to the handrails. You will be responsible for them. Please keep them close by. No smoking food, candy, gum, or drinks. Stick with me as best you can. You're not going to be able to stay directly behind me the whole time, but just don't wander off too far. Most importantly, please don't touch any of the walls or formations with your hands and fingers. There is going to be some areas where we have to brush up against some things with our shoulders and elbows, and that's okay as long as we're not touching anything with our palms and fingers and getting oil all over stuff that will damage our formations and keep them from growing. So, all right, folks, let's get started. You can take all the pictures you like. Flash photography is okay. You can stop for questions.
There's a spider right here. Go this way. I'm sorry. It's a little tiny spider. I was trying to...
And if the last person through would just shut that door, we'll be done with doors.
Yeah, you're correct.
Thank you. Okay. So they found this cave completely by accident in 1971. They were adding to the parking structure for a resort around the corner here called Guntown Mountain. So a man on a front loader opened this up right here, and he actually didn't stop. He continued down this way, opened 6 more openings, came back around and opened number 8 before he finally stopped to investigate. Once Guntown Mountain realized what they had on their hands, they decided to go ahead and sell it off as a cave instead of making it more parking. And we're glad they did, because here we are. So, he found this one first, and somehow this one last. This used to be the first stop on the tour. As you can see, it's been walled up. There were some stairs that would go down. They brought it away and not been replaced. The thing is, when they opened the doors in 1973, they would let people actually go down here and touch the walls and formations and even break off little chunks and take some with them as souvenirs. As a result, it killed this room. Nothing will form on the walls anymore. The oils from people's hands got on there, and it keeps the water from flowing, keeps the minerals from being deposited. And so it's effectively a bare pit down in there. And more just a cautionary tale than anything. In 1973, they didn't know much better, and they were a little more concerned about making money, not so much about cave preservation. But by 1988, they had wised up. Kentucky passed some laws protecting our caves from such foolishness. We're very proud of our caves here in Kentucky. We have over 5,000, but that is not the most in the nation. Tennessee has some 11,000 and some change. Missouri calls themselves the unofficial cave state. They have 8,100. And that number actually just jumped up recently. It was just 7,000. But they're finding new caves all the time. And then places like Michigan have like one cave in the whole state.
That's where we live.
Oh yeah? Yeah, a lot of copper mines and iron mines and things like that. But then, like there's one commercial cave and I think it's in a trailer park or something. Like it's just like
I would have no idea.
even the one cave they have is like really small.
I don't know.
Right behind us here we have some beautiful sparkly calcite. Now this is dry right now. It's nice and sparkly for us. And we'll have a lot of these as we go along. These little calcite deposits that you'll see sparkle like glitter. So in the next days or weeks or so, it'll get really, really humid in here. It'll start dripping from the ceiling. And these little deposits will get wet and they'll start looking more like candle wax. It won't be as pretty, but that's part of like the process of the cave. So what deposits the minerals there makes them sparkle. So we have a really, really nice one right here actually. You guys will get to see it because this is our self-guided portion of the tour. But you guys start right here. You're going to come out on the other side over here. It gets a little narrow on this end. If you can navigate this end, it'll be okay for the rest of the cave. And I promise it is not too bad. You guys can go ahead and get started. Take your time. There's actually quite a bit to look at down in there. I'm going to jump ahead and turn some lights on for us. And I'm going to meet all you guys on the other side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, don't touch that.
They already said that that's gonna happen, honey, but you shouldn't. No, I know, they said that was gonna happen. They're closing something like that.
Get your light on. So like forward.
Probably. Or the cave goblins. Oh, that's a tight squeeze. Yeah.
Doesn't bats?
No.
Okay. Well, if a bat attacks you, just, you know what they say, you punch it in the nose and it'll swim away. That's sharp. Whatever. Probably works for most animals, to be honest. Now, it's too warm in our cave for bats, actually. Most caves are between 54 and 56. Ours is at a lovely 60 degrees. It's pretty crazy to think that minor temperature change makes all the difference for wildlife. We have no bats. We have some big dangly crickets. But it's now, man, 2,000 years old. I don't know the bat. It was like, yeah. Okay, so this is one of our quote unquote wild caver sections. Some of our employees are cave enthusiasts. They like to do things like slide down this and then crawl back in there and hang out with those crickets. But that doesn't really appeal to me or the general public very much, so we just kind of point this out as one of our openings. So we have a few of these along the hillside here. This is just one of the openings that got into the front loader town. And it's sort of a cave on its own. It doesn't connect to anything. It does have some beautiful calcite being deposited, just washing down the hillside here. There's some more over here. Still dry enough for us to enjoy. So this here is actually our original hillside here. And then this man-made structure was put over it. And then all that green grass you see when you pull in was put artificially over that. So sort of a fake hillside on top of our original hillside here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting still some calcite being washed out of the limestone and down this hillside. So that's what this is. Start over here. So yeah, this is just winter to protect the openings of the cave from dust elements and really just people driving into it because it's a parking lot of it. So in 71, they began excavation of the cave. They actually smashed a lot of formations. They saved, they salvaged a lot of them and brought them over here for our viewing enjoyment. It's sort of a formation graveyard. These have all been placed here artificially. Some are stalactites, some are stalagmites, some are just kind of some random formations. Some of this is limestone that was on top of the hill here, like this stuff here is limestone that was on our hilltop. This sort of Swiss cheese effect was caused by the rain washing the calcium out down through the soil, giving us our lovely formations. Who can tell me the difference between stalactites and stalagmites? It's usually little kids that know.
One's on the ceiling, right?
Yes. Do you know specifically which one?
Stalactite?
Yes!
Yeah.
A+. Stalactites will hang tightly from the ceiling.
Yep.
Stalagmites, you might trip over them one day because they're going to come up from the floor. Little kids usually know because they got that science class fresh in their minds, but sometimes the adults know too. So every once in a while. So yes, stalactites, they hang tightly from the ceiling. So they're going to have they're usually generally more pointy and spiky like this because they're formed by the water just dripping off of the ceiling of the cave. And as it comes down, it deposits those minerals and then drips off, gives us these little points. And then it drips down, forms a stalagmite underneath. So they're going to be circular on the bottom like a puddle of water and come up sort of blunted like that. That right there is an alien egg. I don't go near that thing. It creeps me out. I'm afraid of what's going to come out of it. This is a lion's tail formation.
Yeah, that one's sweet.
There's an outlier here. So this is a stalactite, right? It's supposed to be hanging from the ceiling, so it's supposed to be like pointy like these guys. But they think he was formed a little less time, a little more pressure. So he's like club shaped and covered in this coral. So we have a ton of this coral down in the main cave. Our owner, Missy, has been in almost 100 caves. And she says that this one is still the best one that she has seen for this coral. It's really beautiful stuff.
It's cool.
And we have just a ton of it back down there. And yeah, they think that's just from the pressure in the limestone sort of pushes this mineral out in that very slow kind of popcorn effect. And this isn't an egg. It's actually an onyx calcite.
Oh, cool.
So most onyx that people know of and think about when they think about onyx is a dark quartz-based onyx. Ours is this lovely light calcite onyx. Beautiful white color. So this particular deposit was formed in the parking lot by a cedar tree. A cedar tree was actually growing right on top of this thing, and you can see how the roots form the edge there. And the cedar tree root is sort of our unofficial mascot here at Onyx Cave. We have them everywhere. Very tenacious little roots. They will work their way down through our man-made ceiling. And even limestone. We have some down in the actual cave. They'll come down through the limestone. They don't need a lot of soil at all. So, moving right along. Excuse me, folks. Going right through here. Kind of a lovely native you see. Used to go to Fort back in the 70s.
Yeah, that's totally cool.
Right there. Very old, very broken flowstone. So yeah, like I said, kind of a formation graveyard. If something were to happen to one of the formations down into the cave, it would actually be illegal for us to sell it or even take it very far away from the cave, so this is where it would end up. Over here we have a lava pit. I just call it that because it has this lovely orange glow. So I start telling people though to hang on to your hats and glasses and cameras and children. If it falls down here, we actually have to rappel down to get it. Even
Bless you.
Even routine maintenance has to be done by rope, changing light bulbs and things. This is another one that doesn't connect to really anything other than this over here. There's one tiny shaft Bless you again, are you okay?
Allergies.
You're not allergic to caves, are you? That would be terrible. We're about to be in one. So there's a shaft that comes underneath here. Oh Lord, the last light's not on. Once you're over here though, it gets a little rougher going. You would have to pretty much turn around. Go back up said rope. We do have this lovely calcite deposit there on the edge of this
Yeah, that's really pretty.
ominous looking shaft.
Anybody able to fit down there? As
I'm not.
I'll make it a foot down there.
That is. So this little purpley thing with the glitter, that's actually a baby stalagmite formation, and it's coming from this little baby stalactite up here. I say babies; these guys are like 50 years old. We say that we know because of 50-year-old ceiling, right? So we have 50-year-old
No kidding. Yeah.
natural stalactite formation forming from our very man-made ceiling. So yeah, it takes the stalactite about 100 years per cubic inch to form. It takes the stalagmite about 300 years per cubic inch to form. But the stalagmite is a complicated thing. Like half of this thing is sliding down that hole, so it's going to take probably a little bit longer than if it were just dripping onto a flat surface. But yeah, it will take quite a long time for them to really start looking like anything. But then one day, they will connect and form what is called a column. We have a few little baby columns down in the cave, and then one very big one. You guys aren't following me through this. I actually have to go in here and turn on a light.
Oh, okay.
So you guys just hang out for me here. I'm gonna go into Geo jail. What do we call this? Ta-da! So, what's the story about this room? We're not supposed to talk about it. It's not actually part of the tour. It's just geode storage. Our owner, Missy, will not turn down geodes. Farmers will find them in their fields. And yeah, it's just piles of rocks. Farmers will find them in their fields, and they will bring them in by the truckload, and she will buy every one of them. So we have to find little rooms to pile them up in. But to be fair, they do sell. People love geodes, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
people love breaking them open. It's a big mystery. Like
Yeah.
find out what's inside. It's great. Great fun for the whole family. All right, folks, we're gonna hang tight to the rails. We're gonna get down into the main cave now. We're gonna take our time and be nice and slow and safe. And you will notice a very lovely temperature change as we ease down. And I want to welcome you guys to Onyx Cave.
Yay!
So yeah, 60 degrees year round.
Well, this is part of, yes, this is
Can't
actually
beat it.
what I'm into.
And our rails are a bit damp today, as is just about everything down here. But if we hang tight and go nice and slow, it'll be safe. And I'll break your fall if you fall. We'll both fall.
What'd you say, baby?
But I haven't lost anybody yet. Y'all still with me? Yeah. Okay. Well, it'd be crazy if I turned around and wasn't nobody there. I'm literally trying to give you guys something to fall on. Try to hang out here long enough. All right, we're good. All right. So watch this little section up here. Be painted yellow. It was at one point painted yellow. Okay. So can you see okay? See all that from right where you're at? Okay. We're trying to squeeze everybody in here comfortably without pushing anybody like back that way. So, spoiler alert for you guys. This is where we're gonna come out at. We'll go down, sort of circle around, come up a different flight of stairs, and come out over there. All right. Welcome to Onyx Cave again. This is our waterfall wall. One of our opening attractions here. I really love this thing. So, this is where it all began. Right up here, this is a solid limestone slab. It looks like concrete. There's a nice flat, natural flat slab of limestone. You may notice we don't have a ton of actual stalactites hanging. A lot of our formations are this flowstone, which is essentially the same thing. It's just formed by the water carrying the minerals sort of flowing down the wall, as per the name, instead of dripping down off the ceiling like a stalactite would. These larger sections are called cave draperies, and these smaller sections are called cave bacon. I kid you not.
So I saw that on the website. I was like, so cool.
Yeah, it says that on the brochure,
Like
the
the bacon
website.
ones.
Yeah, it's bacon, cave bacon. And once we get sort of situated here in a minute, I'll illustrate exactly why they call it cave bacon. But yeah, so caves like Mammoth, they're sort of formed like rivers. They go along, and a lot of this gets carried away in a process like that. Our cave was formed straight down like a canyon. Just a crack in the top of the hill here, the top of this limestone, allowed for the water to just flow straight down and erode the limestone and deposit the calcium on its way down. Makes our walls and formations. All of this lovely, lovely flowstone. So yeah, here are a few of our little baby columns down here. This is what I said when stalactites and stalagmites meet. It takes a very long time. We have some very little ones, and then we have a very, very big one once we get down to the bottom.
Looks cute.
Yeah, yeah. Here's some of our baby coral. This stuff gets bigger and weirder as we go down. Starts taking on some really crazy shapes, textures. Alright, so sometimes I do this at the end of the tour, sometimes I do this at the beginning of the tour. Sometimes I have to divide it. But this is sort of a medium to large size group. I think I can fit you all back here though. So if I can get you guys sort of over here, put you in over here. I have to light up this bacon for everybody because it's literally everyone's favorite part. But you have to all sort of get on this other side. Okay. And even if y'all have to sort of get back here a little bit, as long as everybody can see this corner, and then as soon as I light this up, then we'll start easing down. Okay. That's right. So it's right behind you here. So this is why they call it cave bacon. Ta-da! And I'll make sure everybody gets close enough, gets a good
Oh, baby, I should
opportunity to
have
see.
considered.
I wish I had a t-shirt with that on it. Everybody loved that
That's
bacon.
totally cool.
All right, everybody good?
Yeah.
Well satisfied? Okay. It's a little undercooked for my taste. It's probably a little chewy. All right, guys, we're gonna start easing down. We're gonna hang tight to our rails so that we can all safely witness the wonder of nature that is Onyx Cave. You're gonna notice it gets a little more damp and moist and wet, whatever you want to call it, as we get down. You're liable to get dripped on a little bit. That's okay. It's very clean water. I've been getting it in my eyes and mouth for months now, and I'm all right. In fact, they're called cave kisses. It's supposed to be good luck. Just make a wish. Here we have a few of our little stalactites, sort of bacon stalactites forming here. And they're still forming even as we speak. You see these little droplets of water depositing minerals. And as you can see, our coral getting bigger and weirder. Beautiful calcium. Sparkling calcite deposits. And if you're afraid of heights, don't worry too much. I'm already on the floor of the cave. So not much further. Great saltpeter cave. They said there's like a bunch of those saltpeter caves. They were really popular during the Civil War because that's what was a main ingredient in gunpowder.
Yeah.
Everybody know.
They only open this. What were we talking about? No, I was talking to somebody else earlier in the gift shop. They only open it up like once a year.
Really?
Yeah, to the public.
So, as we make our way down, I want you guys to think about how far down in feet from the parking lot you think we are, and just shout out your guesses. Don't worry, I've heard some crazy, crazy numbers.
80.
80 feet. That's a pretty good guess. 100. Don't be shy. It's literally just a number. 60. Okay. What do you guys want to guess? You want to venture a guess?
75.
75 feet. All right, you all ready? 37 feet.
Oh.
Not a terribly deep cave. 60 feet from the very top of the hill. 37 feet from the parking lot. Once we're down at the very bottom of the cave, 85 feet total. So not a terribly deep cave. That's why we've got this nice warm 60-degree temperature, or cool 60-degree temperature. So what's neat about that is it feels cool right now. You come down in here and it's like, oh, it's nice, cool 60 degrees. But they'll come down here in the wintertime to warm up. Like it'll be the same 60 degrees. You come down here and be like, oh, it's a nice warm cave. It's like, oh, wow. Humans are weird. So yeah, I'm gonna start pointing out our zoo now. Our little sort of. Here's our elephant. This is sort of floating here in the trunk. He comes down into this jellyfish. Now this sort of jellyfish shape.
Awesome.
Sort of jellyfish shape is a more common flowstone shape. You get a lot of this with the dome and the bacon underneath. Over here behind us we have a white bar turkey. Behind you, oh, big cave turkey hanging. Sorry, he snuck up on you.
Oh, that's stupid.
Gobble gobble. I actually really, this is probably one of my favorite spots in the whole cave. I love this part. It's beautiful coral, and this is really a nice illustration of just all the different shapes and sizes it can take on and textures, just all right here in this strange little alcove. So like I was saying, they don't fully understand how this stuff is formed. They think it is from just the really, really porous limestone around here. It allows for these minerals to sort of be pushed out in a really slow kind of popcorn effect. But that's just the going theory. They don't know for sure. But it's pretty crazy stuff, and there's not a lot of it. Like we're one of the best spots for it, really. Let's see, what else am I missing here? Oh, we have this lovely little hole in the world. So every couple of months, they let the employees suit up and crawl around in some of these spaces. I have been invited to. I haven't yet. And I don't think that I'll ever crawl around in this one. They say it just goes back about 35 or 40 feet, and then it gets too tight to turn around, so you have to crawl backwards back out.
Oh.
I'm like, eh. And then what? Like,
Seems
what
like
is
it'd
there
be
even to do?
claustrophobic too.
Yeah, so I can go back in there and just hang out with the crickets, I guess. Thank goodness. So, like, if you were exploring something, I can kind of understand, but if you're just crawling into a little space just to, like,
Just to do it.
maybe get stuck. One more formation before we begin easing down. This is actually my favorite one. She's at sort of an awkward angle, so I'm going to light her up from right here, but I can really only make out, fully appreciate her from over here. They call her the lady with a bouquet. As you get on the other side of her, you will begin seeing that she sort of looks like a bride, ghostly kind of bride, holding a bouquet of cave coral there.
Oh.
And she looks like a figure that would be sort of on a ship, pirate ship.
So that piece right there.
Really like that one.
What piece is her bouquet? You see that?
Little bouquet, just a little sprig of coral there, perfect little bouquet. I love that.
Best way.
Our living cave still forming.
Yeah.
Here we have this particular flowstone here is always wet and shimmering like that. It's beautiful. And it's right next to this beautiful piece of craggy coral that is always seemingly dry. Beautiful specimens of both just right here next to each other. And so yeah, right here where I'm stepping, there is a decline. Even at this decline, you can begin seeing that everything just gets weirder and weirder as we ease down. Things get wetter and more active. We have a few of our stalactites. Up here we have some of this needle-type formation. This is what happens when coral comes out at such pressure that it actually forms little needles like a cactus. This is sort of a smaller version. We have some bigger ones later on. I will point out. Down here, they've lit up for us, illuminated for us, this lovely little miniature cave, sort of a dollhouse cave. Perfect for a little action figure photo shoots. I'm going to bring some little plastic dinosaurs in one day. Take some pictures. And now, and here we have some sort of larger sort of columns, still small, but larger than before. And again, that's when stalactite and stalagmite meet. So, as we ease into this next room, we'll watch our heads, and you will begin to see as we get to the end of this passage, our main column, 40 feet high, goes all the way to the ceiling of the cave. Once you're under here, you can see the crack that actually formed it. Just drip by drip over the course of about 250,000 years. One of my absolute favorite parts of the cave. So this is a perfect illustration of exactly how much faster a stalactite grows than a stalagmite. This thing here is all stalactite. And then this is stalagmite. And that's where they've met. And as you can see, this whole wall is sort of that same story. This entire flowstone curtain has sort of come down and met this as it's come up and formed it over the course of about 200 to 250,000 years. And I don't know how many other caves y'all have been in, but if you see formations like this in another cave, you certainly wouldn't be this close to them. This is really something amazing. I fell in love with this cave the first time I was in here. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It's pretty sweet.
And I'm about to get out of y'all's way. We can all kind of take turns standing in this area and gawking upwards at this awesome T-Rex. And I love this guy because you don't need much imagination. Like, it's a big old T-Rex, like trying to eat our formations. Like, I'm gonna get out of the way so y'all can see it. So I can fully appreciate. Yeah. He's right up here. Gotta sort of get in there and turn around to see him. He's got big T-Rex jaws. Let's see if our needle type light. Just really gotta get this light fixed. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this. So we've got a light bulb out right here. I'm gonna let you guys pass by me and look at this thing. And then once you're by me, I'm gonna sort of awkwardly make my way back to the front of you. So as you pass behind me though, you will get a good glimpse of this needle type formation. This is what I said is when coral comes out under a little more pressure, and so it forms these needles. And this is sort of a worm's eye view. We'll actually get a better view of it up on this staircase here. But the light is out, so I would like to illuminate it for you as you pass by. Take your time, of course. No one's in a hurry. Really beautiful stuff. It looks kind of dangerous. But it would probably just fall apart if you touched it, actually. Very delicate stuff. Alright, you guys have made your way into the drippy room. So, y'all are 85 feet down now. About as far as you can go. Years. And you guys can kind of just take your time and move in and out of here. And whenever you're ready, you can meet me up on these stairs. This is a great area for group photos. The lighting is great, so. This is the bottom of our cave, though, and as you can see, it doesn't go back much further. Really beautiful, beautiful area. The ceiling in here is absolutely fantastic. I love looking up at the ceiling. Do so carefully, you may get dripped on. If you're gonna get dripped on, this is likely where it would happen. But as I said, good luck. Make a wish.
Let's see outside the cave.
We get asked about flooding. If we ever have to deal with flooding down here. If it rains really, really hard, I mean a monsoon comes upstairs, we get one trickle of water that comes out of that hole in the wall. And that's it. The rest of the rain washes itself down so quickly, because the cave is still forming beneath us, that in 50 years they've never had to deal with flooding. Also, you may notice, as you look around, there are some areas that look like little breakages where people have, it looks like people have actually reached up and broken off formations, but that is actually a natural occurrence. That's what happens when water carries mineral out to the extremities, weighs them down so much that they just snap off on their own. But that is something that happens on such a long geological timeline that again, in 50 years, they've never had to deal with it. people worry about getting hit on the head by formations, and it's just not likely. You're just more likely to be struck by lightning several times. All right, so as I said, light bulb issues. We've changed this light bulb. It's still giving us fits. So I'm gonna do something a little out of the ordinary. I'm gonna pass this flashlight back, and you guys can take a look at this needle tight formation as we ease up these stairs. Just hand the flashlight to the person behind you, and then when we get done, we'll pass it all the way back forward. I can hand it to her behind you if you want me to do it.
I'll
You think you can handle both?
Yeah.
Camera and flashlight? Okay.
Yeah, we're
there
gonna
you
try. Thank you.
I don't want you to drop either of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Here, sweetie.
Yeah, I want people to be able to see that because it's one of my favorite
cool,
parts.
yeah.
It's really cool and stuff. And it looks so, it's one of those things that's so beautiful, but it's kind of dangerous.
I did notice a hotel key card down at the bottom of the stairs when we first came in.
We find so, like, that's the #1 thing.
I bet.
Is hotel key cards. We find those everywhere. Poor people just getting locked out of their rooms.
Anything weird happen in the cave? Robberies, ghost stories, anything cool?
We have one cool story that I'm going to share when we get into this next room. But it's so that nobody was in here before '71. So not a lot of, there's just not a lot of shenanigans.
yeah.
Right. Because nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a good and bad thing. We don't have those stories, but it's one of the things that's
preserved,
kept in
yeah.
such good shape. Yeah.
It was not involved in the Kentucky Cave Wars.
Right, exactly. Jesse James never
Yeah,
stayed
yeah.
here. Is this everybody? Can't remember how many
Yeah.
people we had. I'm
There's
supposed
8
to
of
count.
us.
I never do.
Yeah.
So we're up at the top of our column now. Just whenever you're all ready, you can pass that flashlight back up. No rush though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. I really wish we could take some stairs up into this little corner up here because, man, that is some creepy looking stuff going on. Like, I love all these little squiggly stalactites here. This is some of our newer formations up in here. This is again the crack that began our cave. This is where it all started.
Wow.
About 300,000 years ago. Just drip by drip. And giving us this massive flowstone curtain. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And our lovely algae covered triceratops will be able to see you as you make your way up. Alright, so we're going to squeeze through this final sort of passageway. This is one that children have an easier time with than adults. But we're all just going to kind of hunker down and ease through. I want us all to fit into this last room here because I have a fun little story about it. So, here we go. This is a little room, but there's a lot packed into this one. We have our cedar tree root up here. As I said,
Oh, no kidding.
where's a comes a cricket? Look at this gangly little dude.
Oh, they're always they're kind of shy, actually. They don't bother people a whole lot, which is great because they look terrible. They look awful.
They're like regular crickets without all the charm.
They're not green.
Well, I mean, at least they're pretty green and they chirp. These don't do either of that.
Okay.
They're just big like spider things. Yeah, they're gross. You also find them in like basements and barns and things. Like they get called camel crickets, humpback crickets, cave crickets. Okay, so I guess we're all in here now. Cedar tree room again, the unofficial mascot of Onyx Cave. He's dead, but even dead, he'll just hang there for Lord knows how long. Alright, so I have a fun story about this room. A little piece of history. And it's fun for me because the owner actually doesn't like me telling this story. So I will continue to tell it as long as nobody tells on me. But yeah, so nobody knew about this cave before 71. Human beings weren't in here at all. Jesse James never stayed here. There's no Civil War plaques on the walls. No involvement in the cave wars. But we do have one fun piece of history about a boulder that was right here when the cave opened in 73. It's about as tall as I am and went from wall to wall. And it was shaped as such that they thought that the guests would like to shimmy up the face of this boulder, sort of crawl along the top of it, and then slide down the other side to get out of the rest of the cave. Finish the tour that way. Or they could turn around right here and go back the way they came. Basically to retake the whole thing. They figured out that nobody was going to pay for either of those options, and so the boulder had to go. How y'all think they got that boulder out of here?
Dynamite.
Yeah, man! It takes some groups so long to get to dynamite because they're like, surely they didn't bring dynamite down into a cave to blow a boulder up. But yes, they did. And actually, it was a one-man job. His name was Cleon Turner. He's the man who mapped the cave in the first place. He mapped a lot of the caves in the region. And yeah, he brought dynamite down in here and blew that boulder up. Here's a residue thing on the walls. Yeah, most people are like, well, it was obviously a pickaxe. They just brought pickaxes down here and they busted it up. And yeah, they probably did some of that too, but the main job was done by dynamite. Yep, that's where he drilled in. So yeah, he stripped all of the onyx. That's bare limestone. Stripped all the onyx off the walls. And onyx is actually just a Greek word for fingernail. Sort of a generic term for cave formation because it kind of just grows on the cave wall like a fingernail would on a finger. So yeah, he stripped away all that onyx, left this bare limestone underneath. But, I mean, he apparently knew what he was doing. And it was the 70s, so a little more cavalier back then. Yeah, the owner, Missy, she's like, don't talk about dynamite down in the cave, you're gonna freak people out. I'm like, they're smart, they know. It's been 50 years since then. Like, if he shook something loose, we'd know by now. And besides, if people get squeamish at this point, the tour's over. We're on our way out. So let's go, folks.
What was it? In 94, there were some rocks that fell in Mammoth Cave, but nobody was there.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, the odds of being there.
Oh, yeah,
for that.
yeah.
So, one more thing before we go. I'm going to try and let you guys all do this. It's kind of awkward thing to show a large group, though. But if you get, like, at this rail like this, you'll have to look almost straight up and you'll see a very, very creepy face smiling back down at you.
Oh, very true.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Yeah, right there. Hold on. We can.
There you go.
Oh, man, yes. Kind of a goblin-looking thing with a goatee.
Yeah,
Yes.
if they're being generous, they call him the guardian of the cave.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah, I think he looks like Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And whenever you're ready, well, we can wait on everybody. We don't have to start rushing in. But we're back at the beginning.
Oh.
Isn't that wild? You have to get like right at the rail. You're all the way up in there. Yeah. There's his mouth. The first thing I see when I look up is his mouth and his little teeth.
Yeah.
You got little fangy teeth. And yeah, whenever you are ready, you can start making your way up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out right here so somebody falls down these stairs. It shows up really well in the photograph. And whenever y'all get to the top of the concrete stairs, just hang out for me.
Alright guys, so These here are up on the wall, no cave formations, however they don't belong here. What happened was back in the day, they didn't expect to find this. Okay, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, you're good. So, plug some stuff out, you can see things around, you got a nice bright light, you look around, but it's cool. This one right here, this is the last time. What do we tell? It's got that nice little peak at the top. This one's back around, just like me, that's gonna make this stalactite. Now, normally I was just supposed to be a stalagmite, white triple, stalactite, that's all the point I didn't do there. But my favorite one's out on the wall, guys. It's actually right down here. This is a large boulder of onyx. I know, it looks a little quartzy, but it's onyx. Onyx has this interesting feature. It likes to absorb different minerals. That's why it's not very white. You see we have a lot of red clay, because that red clay is supposed to hide. I think it's a sort of formation, so sometimes orange, yellows, and browns. We don't really see a lot of red white. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Y'all lucked out. I'm so much better than Melvin.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna let you guys go on ahead. So to your right is gonna be the restrooms. To your left will be the gray door that is your exit. So go on ahead for me. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice cave tour. Actually, I'd say it's one of the more. It was it $11 a person? It was a more affordable cave tour. It might have been a tad shorter, but I thought, you know, if you haven't done a cave tour before, that would be the perfect one to start. It wasn't too strenuous, wasn't too crazy, and our guide was great. I really liked him. And I like this place. I've stopped here and gone to the rock shop a couple times. This was our first time going through the cave, and of course it's right across from Dinosaur World, right there. I've put up another video about that elsewhere on this channel, and it's close to Jesse James. I put up a video not too long ago about that cave. But what did you think? Have you been to this cave? I thought it was really, really well done. The fact that it wasn't discovered until the 70s definitely, you know, makes it very well preserved. And as you've noticed from the video, we pulled in when the weather was good, and before we even started our cave tour, it started pouring down rain. I'm thinking about, just rain follows me. I don't know what happens, but every time we go somewhere, there's gonna be rain. And of course, before the day was over, we would make a stop at Big Mike's Rock Shop, just a few more miles down the street as you go towards Mammoth Cave. If you've not been to the Mammoth Cave area, you've always got to stop at Big Mike's. It's probably my favorite place for souvenirs, and it has been for decades. I love that place. Good people running the place too, so make sure you go by Big Mike's. Anyway, what'd you think? Let me know if you've been to Onyx Cave. I like what they're doing there, and just let me know what you think. Thanks.